Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. Morning Report is a production of FightbackMedia.com, 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 and FightbackMediaTV.com. My name is Willie Lawson. I trust that you are well. This glorious, fantastic, amazing day here in West Central Florida. It rained a little bit last night, in places, but you know what? It is fabulous, fabulous now. It really is. 75 degrees, a little cloudy. Supposed to rain a little bit later, but like I say, and say this with me, every day is a great day. Just some days it's raining, so life is good. We've got some things to talk about, and hopefully an explanation of one of them will give you an idea why some of these companies are going the direction they're going. There's a real reason for it, other than the exasperation of what we see is of wokeness in our culture. Corporations are bending to the culture because politics follows the culture. We have to understand that, and we've talked about this. We've tried to talk about this before. Everything follows the culture. So business, of course, now is following the culture, and the culture is our fault. And again, if we did not participate in the culture war or understand that there was a culture war going on, if we were under the mistaken opinion that our kids were just like us, because you had sent them to private school, you had sent them to Christian school, you had made sure that they had the best education that you could possibly afford, even if you couldn't afford it, you did all that stuff, and you found out that the culture won them anyway. I know it's incredibly frustrating, but the culture has won them anyway, and now they're in a position and an age where they are now leading a lot of this stuff in politics and in business and the like. So we're going to talk about that because I think that's where this is. And I'm also going to try to hook up with my friend Vinny Tafaro, the author of Unlocking the Labor Cage and Conscious Capitalism. So I think that he is going to open up a whole new thing for us in this area. So I will do my best this week to try to get a hold of him to talk about ESG. If he'll do that with me, that'll be great. All right, listen, because we're doing the video, I don't have time today to insert commercials, so we'll just talk about a couple of people who help us and that we support as we go along. Today, by the way, is the first day of the Fun and Sun Fly-In in Lakeland, Florida. It's one of the largest air shows in the country. Definitely one of the largest air shows in the Southeast. Definitely the largest air show in Florida. And that starts today in Lakeland, at Lakeland Airport. So I'm looking forward to maybe trying to get over there on Friday and see our friends at Icon. Icon produces a plane called the A5. It's a boat. It's a plane. It's a boat. It's a plane. It's an A5. And if you have if you're curious about the A5 being a boat and a plane, send me an email at iconinfo@gmail.com, icona5info@gmail.com. And if you got a little money to spend and you want to get into aviation in a way that you never thought you would, yeah, send me an email. All right, let's get started today. Let's see here. Democrats, Republicans too, have focus groups to see how some of their elected officials, their politicians, their leaders are doing. So here's an article written by Spencer Brown. While Democrats keep squabbling about their fractured caucus in Congress, and they do, a new focus group of Democrat voters show how truly out of touch party leaders are and become, ahead of the midterms. When Pete Buttigieg is basically telling people who are poor urban people that their life would be better if they would just get an electric car, get an electric vehicle. I mean, seriously, there aren't many more let them eat cake comments than that. I mean, are you kidding me? So you're telling somebody who doesn't make any money, who lives in an urban area that they would be better off with an electric vehicle. Just go get one. Just go get a Leaf. Just go get a Tesla. Just go get one. Because, they're inexpensive. Hell, gasoline-fired cars, frankly, are outrageously expensive. When just a B-flat basic car is $40,000. Are you kidding me? Just a car. 4 doors, a steering wheel, and 4 tires. 4 cylinders. It's got AC because it's got AC in Florida. But there's, nothing. Nothing in it. You're sitting on fruit boxes. It's $40,000. It's ridiculous. And sometimes more. I don't know if you've bought a car in the past, 10 years or so, but you can finance a car for like 7 or 8 years. Why would you finance a car for half the time that you'd finance a house? People who have 15-year mortgages, would you finance a car for half the time that you finance your house? This is what these things are costing. It is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And for Pete Buttigieg just to offhandedly just say, well, he and Kamala Harris were at this press conference saying you just go buy just get an electric car, just get an electric vehicle. You just want to Will Smith some of these people. Anyway, as reported by Politico on Tuesday morning, Democrats are desperately trying to understand what's roiling the electorate heading towards the midterm. They want to know what's happening. They know that their people are missing the mark for sure. To any outside observer, the obvious edit to this thesis would be to ask what isn't roiling Democrat voters. These people, these Democrat leaders, and this is what I always find interesting, have left their own base. I've said this a million times here on the Morning Report and the Willie Lawson Show and the what was the other one? The Rational Black Man. And everything with Spacebar Productions and Fight Back Media. If you look back through all that, all these broadcasts and videotapes here on YouTube and Rumble and the like, I keep saying this, that the leadership, the leftist leadership, is, especially in the Democrat Party, is so far away from the Democrat base. The workaday Democrats that take their kids to football practice and ballet and have 2 jobs, have 2 jobs. Mom works, dad works, both have responsible jobs, both trying to pay insurance, both trying to make sure that their kids have what they need. They got a mortgage, they got 2 damn dogs. They're trying their best. And these people are talking about giving illegal aliens thousands of dollars because they broke the law and ended up getting themselves separated from their families. They don't want, okay, let me help you. These people don't want people separated from their families. Nobody wants people separated from their families. But they also know if these folks hadn't broken the law in the first place, they wouldn't be in that situation. Because the people I'm talking about who vote Democrat are basically reasonable people. Their leadership, however, not so much. I like to make the analogy, it's like the Russian people aren't bad people because the Russian people are humans like you, like the rest of us. The Russian leadership is terrible. The Ukrainian people are not bad people. The Ukrainian people are people just trying to live. I'm not so sure about the Ukrainian leadership. Now I know that Zelensky is supposed to be, at this point, he's supposed to be the Superman. I understand. He's supposed to be the Superman. But you know what? All those leaderships, all those governments in that part of the world are dirty as hell. And you know it and I know it. The Democrat Party has the same problem. The average Democrat is a good person. The average Democrat is probably a good person. Not the people that we see on TV, screaming and yelling and falling down on the street and throwing milkshakes at people. Not those people. Again, the people that I mentioned. Mom and dad dropping their kid off to ballet or karate practice and watching the soccer game and trying to enjoy life. Frustrated because the price of a season ticket to their local NFL team is way out of their budget, but they certainly like to do it with their families. Um, they're going to theme parks. They're trying to enjoy life, ride roller coasters, build memories with their families. They're trying to do what everybody else is trying to do. But they see gas prices too. They see gas prices. And they're smart enough to know that U.S. policy affects the global market. And when they get told that it doesn't, they know that that's a problem. They know in their gut that that's a problem. So anyway, a group called HIT Strategies, that's kind of scary, has been doing weekly surveys of voters to see how the electorate is reacting to the chaotic reign of President Joe Biden and his disarrayed party leaders on Capitol Hill. Voters that Politico observed going through one of the focus groups were black base, always votes Dems, ages 25 plus, and youth base, always votes Democrat, ages 25 through 39. Solid Democrat voters, or at least they used to be. What Politico gleaned from the focus groups is the following. There's a preoccupation with inflation and crime. They're exhausted with pandemic restrictions. There is COVID fatigue. There is. They have a cynicism about politics for some of the reasons I just told you. They have a cynicism about politics. They are deeply frustrated by President Joe Biden and Democrats have failed to deliver on all of their early promises. And one of those promises, when we're talking about this age group, we're going to make it so, we're going to forgive all your college debt. No, nobody's been talking about college debt, have they? You got that. You owe that. Sympathy for Ukraine mixed with a lot of enthusiasm for Biden, spending too much time and money on the issue. Ambiguity about how important January 6th should be for Democrats in the midterms. Are they going to be able to use it? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It almost seems like Politico is describing the concerns of conservatives, but they were Democrats who always vote Democrat for Democrat candidates. Yet the surveyed voters are as fed up with rising prices and spiking crime as the rest of us. Notably, it shows the White House's spin to blame inflation on Putin, the invasion, and greedy CEOs isn't playing well among the Biden base. And it's because of what I told you. These people aren't dumb. They know that that's not all it. They know that because they're not stupid. It also shows why Biden has quickly scrambled to show action related to funding police departments, and the Democrats have tried to remove COVID restrictions, albeit not for all Americans and not all the way it makes logical sense, because they're losing their own base. Not the crazies, not the celebrities, but just the people I talked about. Then there's the fact that Democrat voters don't see the Biden administration and the work of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi as some wholesome episode of West Wing, but for the chaos that it is. Their frustration with the lack of results from Biden and his congressional allies is to be expected. Biden campaign is the man who planned to shut down COVID, build the economy back better before the pandemic, and bring stable leadership to the White House. Instead of that, Democrats have watched Biden get rolled by the Omicron variant before declaring that there isn't a federal solution to COVID. Again, everybody understands. Listen, you said that you were going to shut down COVID. You're going to shut down the virus. And then you said, there's no federal solution to this. which means I can't. Yeah, I know I said that, but I can't do it. And because there was such hate for Orange Man bad, well, he's going to do it. Joe's going to do it. Our question here was, okay, how? We want some, I mean, we want COVID to go away. Well, COVID is going away. They're making it go away. They're just saying that now it's not a pandemic, it's an endemic. It's going away. It's off the front page. There are no more daily, daily death announcements. How many people have died? How many people hospitalized? It's gone away. It's out of social conscience. What we care more about is, was the slap staged? Bread and circuses. And we can't even get bread because we can't even get damn bread. So we do have circuses. It is. Despite Biden's first State of the Union address focus on Ukraine and the White House obsession with Russia, it also turns out the Democrats aren't at all interested in what's going on. A lot of people just want to know, what are we doing here? Why are gas prices almost twice what they were under Orange Man bad? They want to know. And they don't want you to tell you, well, it's Putin. Ask Putin, which is what the president said to one of the reporters. Blame Putin. And lastly, they don't see the work of Nancy Pelosi's select committee investigating the events of January 6th as critical to Democrats' midterm plans, because nobody cares about it, or people know what the deal was. So continuing to hold on to that, the whole Orange Man bad thing, at this point, is not playing. To say something about Orange Man, that he didn't continue to hold on to his Obama derangement syndrome once he got elected to office. They just moved forward with their agenda, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not is immaterial. But he didn't spend a whole bunch of time saying, "Yeah, my predecessor, my predecessor, my predecessor, my predecessor." We have an opportunity if we don't stick our heads up our butts. We have an opportunity. All right. These two things kind of go together. Let me see if I can pull this article up. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. And where is it? Oh, hang on just a second here. California was trying to, let's see here. I can't find it. Hang on a second. Was trying to make companies in California. There it is. There it is. All right. A judge has ruled that California's diversity mandate for corporations is unconstitutional. Well, and this will fit into the next thing. A California judge ruled that the state's diversity law requiring corporations to have racial minorities or members of the LGBTQ plus community serve on their boards of directors was unconstitutional. Now, on its face, you can see why the state can't say your company, and let's build a company. Let's build Spacebar Productions or Fightback Media, and we have a board. I'm going to be the CEO. My wife's going to be the COO. Actually, the CFO. Paul Swanson is going to be the COO, and we're going to have 3 other people. Who decides who those 3 other people are? Should it be the shareholders at an election? At a meeting of the shareholders? Or should it be Governor Newsom? Should it be, or should it be the California State Legislature? Who gets to decide? Who the people on our board for our company is? Should it be you? Do you get to decide? If you're watching, you're a shareholder. You get a vote. Do you want somebody else to decide? Do you want some law to mandate the makeup of this company? See, on its face, it's horrible. On its face, it's a way to start nationalizing corporations. Nationalizing corporations is the first step in socialism. And I know that, you know, sometimes when we say that, we sound like the proverbial skipping CD or broken record. But that's part of what socialist countries do. They nationalize industries. The judge who handed down the ruling Friday concluded that the law violated the California's constitutional equal protection clause, according to a summary judgment granted by Judicial Watch, a conservative legal group that filed the permanent injunction against the measure. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton, who's a cool guy by the way, said that the statement in the Associated Press, the decision declared unconstitutional one of the most blatant and significant attacks in the modern era on constitutional prohibitions against discrimination. Signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom in 2020, the law mandates that corporate boards of publicly traded companies with a main executive office in California have a racial or ethnic minority as a member or a member of the LGBTQ plus AI plus or IA plus community serving on their boards by the end of 2021. All right, I have two things. First of all, it's none of the state's business who serves on my board of my company that I opened a vein for, that I stay up all night making work. I sign the paychecks. I make sure that everything happens. It's no government's business who my teammates are. It's not your business. Now, the other part is that here's the part that no one's paying attention to. LGBTQ equals minority, equals black. Equals black. LGBTQ equals black. Black Democrats need to wake up to some of this. Need to wake up to some of this. You should. This is what's happening. Why this leads to the next thing we're going to talk about is this. Hey, listen, if you're going to, I know this is the worst segue ever in the history of segues. Spring is upon us. It is April, and flowers are blooming, and every house, every business looks better and is more pleasant with some fresh flowers. And I know that in this day of Uber Eats and Amazon and Grubhub, which sucks by the way, it's easy just to grab your phone and get an app and get it done that way, right? Because that's simple. But that's not going to, but you know what, as we're finding out, especially with some of these food delivery services, that's not the best way. That's not always the best way to go, is it? So the best way to go on flowers in the Tampa Bay area is Bloomingdale's Flower Shop. That's the best way to go. Is to get in touch with my friend Christine Vasconcello and have her arrange a set of flowers for your kitchen, for your boardroom, for your office. Yeah, we need some flowers in here. Actually, we need to hit this place with a delouser and then put some flowers back there. And maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll get an arrangement of flowers and have them here so you can see them, and so I can smell them and enjoy them. Maybe it'll put me in a better mood. Probably not. All right. Blooming Days Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com, bloomingdays.com. Let Christine know that I sent you there. And all right. Why are some of these companies going woke? Well, there's a reason for it, and it's been coming for a while, actually. I don't know if you're aware of it. There's this thing called the Environmental, Social, and Governance score. Yes, investors, and this is from Investopedia. Investors, notably younger generations, have in recent years shown an interest in putting their money where their values are. As a result, brokerage firms and mutual fund companies have started offering exchange-traded funds, EFTs, and other financial products that follow ESG criteria. Robo-advisors such as Betterment and Wealthfront have used them to appeal to these investors. According to the most recent reports from U.S. SIF Foundation, investors held about $17.1 trillion in assets chosen according to ESG criteria at the beginning of 2020, up from the $12 trillion just 2 years ago. It's amazing. ESG investing, sometimes referred to as sustainable investing, is responsible investing, impacting investing, socially responsible investing. To assess a company's based on ESG criteria, investors look at a broad range of behaviors. There are three basic parts of ESG. Environmental. Environmental criteria may include a company's energy use, waste, pollution, natural resource conservation, and the treatment of animals. The criteria can also help evaluate any environmental risk a company might face and how the company is managing those risks. For example, there may be issues related to ownership of contaminated land, its disposal of hazardous waste, its management of toxic emissions, or compliance with governmental environmental regulations. That's what the E stands for, how green the company is. So if you've got an accounting firm, they've got to find a way to make sure that that part of their score doesn't dip. So you started to see a whole bunch of what? Recycling bins everywhere. Make sure you put your Coke cans there. Well, maybe not Coke cans because you don't want to be too white, right? And that's later. But you put your paper here. Maybe we start not using good paper again. We start using recycled paper to type on, or have, so you have this crappy paper. Maybe you don't have the office supplies you used to have because some of these are not sustainable, or they come from a part of the world that is, it is socially bad for them to be mined or whatever. You understand? So maybe you don't have those batteries from there that you used to have. Maybe you have the cheap ass batteries. All sorts of things. But it's important that E score stay high. So these companies that seem to be going woke are going woke because of investors and this ESG thing that's going on. Social, the S part. And this is the toughest part really. Social criteria looks at the company's business relationships. Does it work with suppliers that hold the same values as it claims to hold? Does the company donate a percentage of its profits to local community or encourage employees to perform volunteer work there? Do the company's working conditions show high regard for its employees' health and safety? Are other stakeholders' interests taken into account? Turkish coffee. It's different. I don't know if I like it. I had it black because Turkish coffee is black, right? But we'll see what happens. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate you. Debbie is my coffee sponsor right now. He's also my CFO. All right. So as we know, that generation is concerned with all those things. So they are perfectly okay with Gavin Newsom saying, well, all these boards of California-based companies should have some minorities and gay people on them, or gay people on them. My company, the one that I slit my veins open to get, that sucks blood out of my neck every day, that I cut a piece of my brain off and threw it down on the table. Everything in my life is dependent on that company. Somebody else could decide who my teammates are. No. But this is going on. And the third part. We're running out of battery for our cameras, so we gotta hurry up. About governance. Investors may want to know that a company uses accurate and transparent accounting methods, that the stockholders are allowed to vote on important issues. And in good companies, they are. However, sometimes things happen faster than you can make that happen. And we should understand that as grown-ups. They also want assurances that companies avoid conflicts of interest in their choice of board members, don't use political contributions to obtain unduly favorable treatment, and of course, don't engage in legal practices, of course. No single company may pass every test in every category, of course, so investors need to decide on the most important of them and do the research. This is what's happening. This is why you have a diversity, a president of diversity in your company now, out of friggin' nowhere, right? This is why you have groups that are pushing or expanding LGBTQ plus issues in your workplace where it was never an issue before. This is why you have minority groups that were not an issue before suddenly become an issue. And it's dividing the workplace, and it's dividing these corporations, and it's bringing down what we thought we had. But there's a reason. Be aware of it. Again, if I can get with my friend Vinny Tafaro, unlocking the labor cage, and talk about conscious capitalism and the ESG, I'll let you know. But we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.